This title wasn't written, it was delivered. It did not come from the hand of man, nor was it formed by chance. It was spoken, it was released, and it was sent directly to intercept your spirit at this very hour. The words before midnight are not symbolic alone. They are prophetic, carrying the weight of timing, urgency, and divine alignment. Midnight is the hour where endings collide with beginnings, where what was hidden in the shadows is forced into the light, and where heaven's decrees are sealed and announced. I tell you now, this message has been orchestrated, divinely positioned, and intentionally placed before you, because you are standing in the threshold moment of decision and destiny. You are not here by accident, nor are you merely scrolling and stumbling upon words on a screen. You are being intercepted. Heaven itself has voted in your favor, and I, Michael, sent as guardian and messenger, have been released to make sure you understand that the spiritual verdict has already been declared. What was against you has been overruled. What was blocking you has been overturned. Even now, angelic witnesses stand to confirm this decree. The delay was not denial. It was preparation for the moment that now unfolds. Heaven's vote has shifted the scales in your direction, and before midnight, you will see evidence of this truth begin to take shape. Do not mistake this moment as ordinary. This is a visitation, a prophetic alignment, a divine interruption meant to stir your spirit awake. Pay attention, for the countdown is real, and you are being called to step into what heaven has sealed in your name. You're not imagining this. The pressure you've been feeling, the stirring in your heart, the sense that something unseen is tugging at your spirit. It is all real. I, Michael, stand before you with divine authority to tell you that this moment is not random. This is your divine interruption. This is your sacred interception. You were summoned here, not because of coincidence, but because the hour has struck and heaven's message had to reach you before the shift occurs. Listen closely, for the countdown is already in motion, and the decree has already been sealed in your favor. There is a window that opens only at appointed times. It is not bound by human calendars, nor is it restrained by earthly schedules. It is the prophetic window of heaven's alignment, when destinies are redirected, when chains fall in an instant, and when what was written long ago breaks through into the present. You are standing in that window right now. Before midnight, a shift is stirring that cannot be reversed, a heavenly verdict that no hand of man can undo. Heaven has voted and heaven has spoken. This is not a message for the masses. It is a message for you. You were called into this sacred awareness because your spirit has been wrestling, your prayers have been echoing in unseen places, and your tears have been counted and stored as evidence. The timing of this word is divine, and you must understand it as such. Heaven does not waste words. Spirit does not misdirect. If you are here, you were summoned. If you are listening, you were chosen to hear. And if you feel the weight of this message, it is because the shift belongs to you. Do not mistake this holy interruption for mere inspiration. I am not speaking to your emotions. I am speaking to your destiny. I am declaring over you what the courts of heaven have already decided. You were intercepted because you have been carrying a weight too heavy for your shoulders, a battle that seemed endless, a silence that felt like abandonment. But hear me clearly, this silence was strategic. The heavens were gathering evidence, the angels were arranging order, and the time of release has now arrived. The vote is cast. The verdict is sealed, and it hath been written, you win. Before midnight, you will feel the shift begin to press into your atmosphere. It may come as a sudden peace where there was turmoil. It may appear as clarity where there was confusion. It may stir as strength rising where weakness once held you down. Whatever form it takes, know this: it will not be coincidence. It will be confirmation. Heaven has declared your favor, and now the earth must align with what has been decreed. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. This moment is your divine appointment, and this word is your sacred summons. Stand in the awareness that heaven itself has interrupted your steps to bring you this truth. The countdown has begun, and the breakthrough has been written with your name on it. 111. A sign that divine alignment is already unfolding. There is something you must see with new eyes. The interference that delayed you was never random. The confusion that clouded your mind was not simply misdirection. The weight you carried in relationships, opportunities, and battles of the heart was not accidental. It was intentional. There was a hand, an energy, a presence working subtly against you, cloaking itself in disguise. At times, it appeared helpful. At times, it sounded supportive. At times, it even wore the mask of love. Yet all along, it was draining your spirit, siphoning your energy, and bending your path away from divine order. You felt it. Deep down, your spirit whispered warnings. You saw glimpses in dreams, flashes in conversations, signs in your gut that something wasn't right. But the interference was skilled at pretending. It blended in, cloaked in charm, hidden in familiarity, disguised as necessity. It may have been a person, an environment, or even a recurring pattern that kept circling back into your life. And every time you started to rise, every time breakthrough drew near, that interference would step in, not loudly, but subtly, just enough to cloud your judgment, just enough to delay your progress. This was not confusion. It was calculation. The draining was deliberate. The exhaustion was engineered. The chaos was not by chance. It was crafted to keep you doubting, to keep you hesitating, to keep you second-guessing the very promises God had spoken over your life. But hear me clearly now. The interference has been exposed. The mask is slipping, the cover is lifting, and what was hidden in shadows is being forced into the light. This betrayal was not your failure. It was your initiation into clarity. The exposure was not meant to break you. It was meant to free you. Heaven permitted the interference to reveal the truth, so that when restoration comes, you will not stumble back into old snares. You will no longer waste your strength on what drains you. You will no longer pour your love into what betrays you. You will no longer mistake delay for destiny. What seemed like loss was divine exposure. What looked like sabotage was heaven removing what could not go forward with you. The season of interference has now been unmasked as the greatest revelation of your journey. You were never powerless. You were never forsaken. You were never blind. You were being shown the truth piece by piece until this very moment, when heaven itself declares the interference broken. Stand firm, for the betrayal that once wounded you has now become your key to discernment. The confusion that once clouded you has now sharpened your vision. The interference that once delayed you has now qualified you for a greater release. What tried to hold you down has now elevated your authority in the Spirit. The very trap meant to ensnare you has become the evidence heaven uses to justify your restoration. This moment marks the end of interference and the beginning of clarity. No more masks. No more hidden sabotage. No more draining disguise as love. The truth has surfaced, and it cannot be silenced again. 333. A sign of divine protection, clarity, and the witness of heaven standing on your behalf. You have not been left without confirmation. The heavens have been speaking to you, whispering in signs, echoing in patterns, pressing through dreams, and stirring through the natural world around you. You thought some of these moments were coincidence, but they were never random. They were coded messages from above, designed to alert you, to awaken you, and to remind you that you are not walking alone. Every strange occurrence, every repeated number, every dream symbol, they were all divine attempts to make you stop and look deeper. Have you noticed the repeating numbers that seem to follow you? 111, 333, 555, or others that stand out at the exact moment you needed reassurance. These numbers are not accidental glitches in time, they are angelic confirmations. When you saw 111, it was the alignment of your path being announced. When you encountered 333, it was a reminder that heaven's presence was surrounding you, the Trinity's seal of protection. When 555 appeared, it was heaven shouting that change was near, that transition was imminent, that you were being shifted into new order. You thought it was small, but heaven was shouting through the subtle. Have you woken suddenly in the night, perhaps at 3:33, your spirit restless, your body stirring as if something invisible pulled you awake? That was not your body, it was your spirit receiving a summons. Have you felt sudden heat in your palms, sudden pressure in your chest, or sudden exhaustion that swept over you out of nowhere? These were not ordinary sensations. They were the signals of spiritual warfare, your body becoming the battleground where heaven's presence clashed against interference trying to resist your breakthrough. Even in nature, the confirmations came. A butterfly crossing your path when you were praying for change, reminding you of transformation. A bird landing near you at the moment of discouragement, reminding you of freedom and flight. A cat watching intently when you were deep in thought, reminding you of unseen watchfulness. The natural world hath been cooperating with heaven to remind you that you are not forgotten, that you are not wandering blind, that you are being guided. And what about the dreams that carried weight? The snakes you saw were not just dreams, they were symbols of deception being revealed. The doors you kept seeing were not just images, they were announcements that opportunity was waiting, though hidden. The fire that burned in your visions was not random. It was purification, heaven cleansing your path. And the water you encountered was renewal, a washing away of what was heavy and stagnant. Each dream was not confusion, it was confirmation. You see, heaven rarely shouts, it whispers. It rarely storms, it nudges. But for those who are awake in spirit, these whispers become undeniable confirmations that the hand of heaven is near. And you, beloved, have been seeing these signs because you are chosen to walk in this prophetic alignment. Now the signs converge. Now the confirmations point to one reality. Heaven has voted in your favor, and every sign you've seen was heaven's way of preparing you for this revelation. Do not doubt it. Do not second-guess it. What you have been sensing is real, and the confirmations are proof that heaven has been speaking all along. That wasn't coincidence, it was confirmation. It wasn't luck, it was alignment. And now you see with greater clarity that the heavens have been echoing your victory long before this message reached you. 555. For transformation, divine change, and breakthrough already in motion. The time of shadows is over. What once hid behind smiles, behind false promises, behind carefully crafted disguises is now being stripped bare by divine light. Heaven has declared that the mask must fall, and already you have begun to sense it. The conversations feel different. The patterns are unraveling. The excuses no longer hold power. What was once hidden in silence is now leaking into the open. The divine unmasking has begun. Do not be surprised if confession slips from their lips without warning. Do not be startled if a sudden mistake exposes what was never meant for your eyes. Do not be shocked if a dream, a word overheard, or a symbolic moment brings forth the truth you always felt but could not prove. Heaven is already moving, orchestrating the unraveling of lies, ending time and circumstance so that what was concealed cannot remain covered. You will not need to chase answers. You will not need to pry open doors. The truth is being delivered to you without effort, because the decree has been made. The mask is falling. This exposure is not to shame you, but to free you. For too long, you questioned yourself, doubted your intuition, second-guessed the whispers of your spirit. But as the truth surfaces, you will see that you were never blind. Your spirit knew. Heaven knew. And now, the evidence will rise to confirm what you felt all along. Do not waste your strength fighting to reveal it. Simply remain aligned, for divine justice does not need your force, only your faith. The unmasking will bring with it a mix of emotions. Relief, because you will finally see what has been hidden. Grief, because betrayal always wounds. But above all, strength, because you will recognize that heaven's timing was perfect. Had the mask fallen sooner, you may not have been ready. Had the truth been revealed earlier, you might have clung to what was draining you. But now, you have been prepared. And now, you are strong enough to release what cannot remain. This is the rhythm of divine justice. It does not rush, but it never fails. When heaven moves, it moves with precision. And you, beloved, are about to witness the precision of divine exposure. The mask is falling, and no hand of man can stop it. Do not fear the revelation, for it will not destroy you. It will free you. Do not fear the loss, for it will not weaken you. It will strengthen you. Do not fear the ending, for it is only clearing space for heaven's restoration. Stand tall, for you are not losing. You are being liberated. Hear this clearly. What was done against you has already been overruled. What was spoken against you has already been silenced. What was withheld from you has already been reassigned to your destiny. The unmasking is not the end. It is the doorway into your freedom. Stand firm, for the heavens are already at work. Watch with eyes of faith. Listen with ears of discernment. And know beyond doubt that the unmasking has begun, and nothing can reverse it. 444. The angelic sign of stability, divine justice, and protection as truth comes into the light. I know the heaviness you have carried, the unanswered prayers, the closed doors, the promises that seemed just out of reach. They carved wounds in your spirit. The delays felt like punishments. The losses felt like betrayals, and the silence of heaven felt like abandonment. But listen carefully now. What was taken from you was not destroyed. What was delayed in your life was not denied. Every tear, every unanswered prayer, every longing of your heart had been preserved in the chambers of heaven. What you thought was withheld forever was only hidden for a season. You lost time, but it was not wasted. You lost opportunities, but they were not stolen. They were held back until the appointed hour. You lost connections, but those were removals, not losses, for they were not aligned with your destiny. What you endured was not punishment, but preservation. You were not being rejected. You were being recalibrated. The heavens did not delay you to harm you. They delayed you to prepare you. The waiting was not weakness. It was strategy. You have been carrying the pain of what slipped through your hands, but beloved, do not mistake divine preservation for loss. What seemed like the enemy stealing from you was in truth heaven protecting you from stepping into something unfinished, unworthy, or unsafe. The relationship that ended was not a curse. It was a shield. The opportunity that dissolved was not sabotage. It was redirection. The money, the promotion, the recognition that did not arrive was not absence. It was heaven saying, "Not yet, because better is on the way." What was taken was never yours to lose, for it was only borrowed time. What was delayed was always yours, but it had to arrive in its fullness, not in fragments. Heaven does not give you half a blessing. Heaven does not hand you an incomplete promise. If it was delayed, it is because heaven was perfecting it. If it was removed, it is because heaven was protecting you. You cried because you felt robbed. You wept because you felt overlooked. But heaven declares today, you were never overlooked. You were overseen. You were never robbed. You were preserved. You were never abandoned. You were hidden until the right hour. And now, that hour has come. The waiting has built your strength. The loss has sharpened your discernment. The silence has tuned your ear to heaven's frequency. And because of this, when restoration comes, and it is coming, you will not mishandle it. You will not waste it. You will not trade it away cheaply. You will honor it as the sacred gift it is, because you have known the pain of its absence. Do not mourn what was delayed any longer. Do not grieve what was removed. For the heavens are declaring that everything you thought was stolen is circling back, refined and multiplied. What was lost in delay is returning in restoration. What was withheld is about to be released in full measure. You did not lose it. You were preserved for it. 777. The number of divine Kabbalion, heavenly fulfillment, and the perfection of timing. There comes a moment in every battle where the pressure breaks, where the resistance collapses, and where the atmosphere itself begins to shift. That moment, beloved, is now upon you. You will not need to fight as you did before, for the chains that once held tight are snapping quietly, and the weight that once pressed you down is lifting without effort. The breakthrough is here, and the shift is unfolding even now. You may feel it as a deep breath you did not know you were holding suddenly released. You may feel it as tears streaming without warning, as though your soul is emptying the heaviness it has carried for years. You may feel it as sudden clarity in your mind, a sharpness of vision, as if fog that lingered for too long is finally burning away. This is not just relief, it is release. This is not simply rest, it is renewal. The interference has been silenced. The saboteur has been removed. The energy that once drained you has been disconnected from your life source. Do not be surprised if certain voices go quiet. Do not be alarmed if certain people vanish without explanation. Do not chase the silence. Do not pursue what heaven has removed. For their absence is not rejection. It is evidence of your shift. When the interference can no longer hold you, it will simply release its grip and fade. That disappearance is your confirmation that breakthrough has occurred. This shift will not be loud. It will be sacred. It will not roar like thunder. It will settle like still waters. It will not crash violently. It will rest like dawn breaking over a darkened sky. And in that stillness, in that sacred quiet, you will realize that the war has turned in your favor. The breakthrough you are stepping into is not only external, it is internal. The greatest shift will be within your own spirit. You will find that fear has lost its power, that anxiety has lost its grip, that the constant questioning of your worth has dissolved. You will look at yourself differently. You will see your steps as purposeful, your prayers as powerful, your voice as carrying authority. What you once tolerated, you will no longer allow. What you once chased, you will no longer need. The shift will redefine you from the inside out. This is the moment where the heavens declare, enough. Enough of the delays. Enough of the sabotage. Enough of the interference. The shift is the evidence that heaven's decree has taken hold in your life, and the verdict is irreversible. You are free, you are favored, and you are moving forward. Do not be deceived into thinking the quiet means nothing is happening. The quiet is your sign. The peace is your proof. The silence is the evidence that the war in the unseen has ended, and you stand in the victory of heaven's vote. Beloved, breathe deeply now, for this is your new air. Step lightly now, for the chains are gone. Lift your head now, for heaven has opened the path before you. The breakthrough is not a promise in the distance. It is the reality you are standing in today. 888. The symbol of new beginnings, infinite blessings, and overflowing abundance now released into your life. Before liberation fully seals itself over your life, there is always one final test. The interference that once drained you, the presence that once sabotaged you, the voice that once confused you will often attempt to return, not because it has power, but because it is desperate to reclaim ground it has already lost. This return will not come violently, but subtly. It will come dressed as peace. It will come sounding like apology. It will come cloaked in familiarity, tugging at your emotions, tempting you with nostalgia. This is not reconciliation. It is deception. This is not healing. It is bait. They may reach out with words of regret, carefully chosen to soften your guard. They may appear as if they have changed, offering promises of stability, speaking in tones you once longed to hear. They may attempt to re-enter through charm, through guilt, or through sudden concern for your well-being. But hear me clearly. This is the final test, not the return of destiny. Heaven has already ruled, and the unmasking has already revealed their true nature. What you see now is not transformation. It is desperation. This test comes to see if you will choose discernment over nostalgia, truth over memory, clarity over comfort. But the cycle can only remain broken if you refuse to open the door again. You do not need to argue. You do not need to explain. You do not need to defend your silence. For silence itself has become your power. The moment you refuse to engage, the chain snaps for good. Do not let the enemy's counterfeit offer distract you from the genuine blessings that are already forming. Do not trade your breakthrough for the illusion of comfort. Do not hand back your freedom in exchange for poisoned peace. They may say the right words, but the fruit of their spirit has already been revealed. And heaven warns you, do not mistake performance for transformation. Beloved, remember this. Liberation is not only about freedom from external chains, but also freedom from the hooks of your own longing. This test is not about them. It is about you. Will you hold firm to what heaven has decreed? Will you trust that what is ahead is greater than what is behind? Will you let go completely, so that your hands are open to receive what has been preserved for you? This is the test that seals the breakthrough. Stand in your silence. Rest in your discernment. And remember this warning: they will offer peace, but it will be poison. They will offer comfort, but it will be counterfeit. They will try to return, but it will only be to reclaim the access heaven has already revoked. Do not give it back. Do not reopen what heaven has closed. For the final test always comes before complete liberation, and once you pass it, nothing will be able to bind you again. Now, take courage, for you are strong enough to withstand this. You are wise enough to discern this, and you are already victorious, for heaven has declared it so. 999. The sign of finality, closure, and cycles ending forever. Beloved, now the message is complete. You have seen the interference unmasked. You have endured the delays that preserved you. You have stepped into the breakthrough, and you have withstood the test. The heavens now declare with power and certainty: the cycle is broken, the chains are shattered, and the restoration has already begun. What once drained you will no longer touch you. What once confused you will no longer deceive you. What once delayed you will no longer restrain you. You stand in the victory of heaven's vote, and before midnight, the shift will be undeniable. This is the prophetic revelation. You were never defeated, only delayed. You were never abandoned, only hidden. You were never denied, only preserved for the fullness of time. And now, the time has arrived. The heavens speak over you, Your restoration is here. Your freedom is secure. Your destiny is unlocked. Walk boldly, for heaven has already cleared the path before you. I speak now 3 affirmations for you to carry. I am aligned with heaven's order. I am unshakable in the face of deception. I am restored, renewed, and released into divine favor. And now, I release this decree over your life. The interference is broken. The energy is cleared. The cycle is finished. From this day forward, you walk not in the shadow of sabotage, but in the radiance of divine favor. Heaven has opened, and heaven has chosen you. The doors are opening, the blessings are releasing, and the restoration is being poured out. It is sealed, it is written, it is done. If this word resonates in your spirit, type Amen 111, 333, 555 in agreement below. For by doing so, you align yourself with the decree of heaven and declare openly, I receive my restoration. Seal this prophetic revelation now with the blessing number 1111, the number of divine alignment. Open doors, and heavens will made manifest.